What is going on? You are listening and watching Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition. This is episode 384. I'm your host, Steve V. Alongside this hot summer day, Cody Maurice Doggett. How the hell you doing, Cody?
Trying to keep it cool, honey. I got holes in my shirt. Hello, darling. I almost forgot my tagline. Oh my
Don't forget.
God. Hello, darling. I'm trying to keep it cool. I got holes in my shirt. I got a chain around my neck. She's iced out.
Oh, I can't do jewelry today, but what I can be doing is this watermelon margarita.
Ooh,
Yes,
cheers.
cheers. We are live every Wednesday night. We are on the Get Vocal platform, and we do recycle this show. It comes out on YouTube on Thursday, as well as audio podcast. In case you didn't know, it comes out the next day. Hi to all the people we've said on the pre-show, but hi to Jen, who just walked in. Thank you from the gym. Sweaty, I hope. Nice. Yummy. I like a good sweaty post-gym workout. Love that. Well, we've got to get into this show. There's so much going on. If it's not hot enough for you, the show will make you even hotter. You know, the other day we love to report on when we give advice.
Okay.
And John P., who we gave advice to, if you listen to Tuesday's show, episode 383, was asking for some advice. And if you remember what he was asking about was he was recently in Provincetown, and he hooked up with a guy that he already knew was in a relationship. And I'm doing a quick brief recap. Yep. He was in a relationship. They had a great connection, great sex. And the guy said, I'm in this relationship, but I want to see you again. Cut to John P. went to the Ginger Min show, and the guy was in line and completely ignored him, as well as ignored every outreach after that. And we were giving advice on when someone like JP catches feelings. We'll let you listen to what we said on episode 383. But just to follow up, I love a good follow up. John P. says, I just heard today's episode, and thank you all so much. One of you mentioned that perhaps he acted like that because he was going behind his boyfriend's back. Well, I saved him as a favorite on Grindr, and he has not been on since that night. So I think you are right.
He got in trouble.
Do you remember who gave that advice?
It was me, I think.
Okay, we'll go with you. Either way, John P. says he's buying us drinks if we're ever in P-Town or Fire Island. Just we got to let him know. So, okay, maybe we can get a watermelon margarita out of it after all. So
sounds good to me.
Yes, exactly. So I'm excited about that. All right. Well, we have got to get in the news. This next segment is in the news. It's what you need to know in our gay LGBTQ plus sexuality. And coming in at number one is Little Uzi Vert. Did I say it right, Cody?
You did a great job, boo. I'm so happy for you. But like, got to put a little stank on it. Lil Uzi Vert, okay?
Lil Uzi Vert is looking to reintroduce themselves, and the rapper caught the attention of fans recently after having updated their Instagram bio to include the pronouns they and them, and a spokesperson later confirmed the change to Pitchfork. But Little Uzi Vert has yet to publicly comment. The most we've heard out of them is a reply to fellow rapper Yeet, who tweeted at Uzi, yo, they, which they replied with a simple, yo, Yeet. In addition to, that's cute, right? In addition to the Instagram update, fans have noted that historically, Little Uzi Vert has had a consistent track record of supporting LGBTQ plus community and has frequently challenged gender norms with their wardrobe choices. I like that, Cody. What were your thoughts when you heard it? You're the one that brought this to our attention. What do you think about it?
Anything and anytime someone does anything positive in the gay and Black community, when those two intertwine, I want to make sure that we spread the awareness that something wonderful has been done. I love this. I love this story. It's along the same lines as Lil Nas X. And I'm so out and being supported. And I think he's being so brave. And the more that people say who they are, the more normalized and less ostracized people will be on the fringes. So
yeah,
good
and it's
to you.
interesting.
Good for you.
It's interesting you brought up Lil Nas X because I think of him as on the far spectrum of out, proud, putting it out there in so many ways as this amazing performer, artist. And I think on the other spectrum, that's why there's so much room for diversity and the ways we express ourselves. Little Uzi Vert is basically doing it on the DL, not DL, because I don't want to use that word, but just putting it out there. And I'm going by they and them now. And I think that's
a more subtle way. And that's important too.
Yeah. So I think there's room for all of us. And then in between all of that as well, beyond even Lil Nas X and in various ways, I think it's really important. So I'm here for it.
Me too.
Also coming in the news as we're reporting, we've been talking so much about monkeypox. I got my monkeypox initial first dose vaccination, and there's a recent Reddit thread that came to my attention. I really want to know what you think, Cody. It's regarding the ethics surrounding monkeypox. People have a lot to say about this.
Girl.
Even on our last show, our other co-host Lincoln had a lot to say to me about you. Well, you only got one vax shot, Steve. And I said, my research shows a little differently, but yes, I'm going to get my second shot, people. But anyways, on a Reddit thread, somebody wrote, my husband and I are monogamous and never go clubbing or to big parties anymore. Well, sometimes we hit a gay bar, and now we're going to be traveling to Spain and France. We're pretty much only going to be visiting relatives and friends, but we may want to hit up a gay bar, but it's not necessary. Someone we know here where we live in the States can get us the monkeypox vaccine now. And even though we're not at high risk, should we get it, or would it be wrong to, quote, skip the line ahead of other people, including fellow gay guys who are single and party a lot more than we do? Who are at higher risk than we are? So Cody asked the question, what are your thoughts on this? Should they get it, or should they not skip the line?
They should definitely wait, and they should keep their shirts on when they're in the gay bar. Okay, that's my problem. I always want to take my shirt off in the gay bar, and I think that it gives me a little bit of agita. So I think maybe it's unnecessary for me to be a little bit nervous about that, but I am nervous about it still. I think that they should definitely wait. I'm waiting because there are people out there that need the vaccine more than I do, and because I'm in a monogamous relationship right now, so it's not time for me to get it at this point. Hopefully at some point there will be a time for me to get it so that my nerves will calm down a little bit more. But right now isn't my time. And I recognize that. And I say that I'm going to wait until, my time in line comes. Does that make sense?
It did. I agree with you 100%. I think they should wait because it sounds like this trip that they're going on, they're not going to be doing anything at risk. They're in a monogamous relationship. They barely even act like they want to go out at all when they're going to be overseas.
Yeah.
Unless they really are going to be rubbing up against people at these bars that they go to one time, which doesn't sound like that. Might be you, Cody, and then you might have a different answer. But it doesn't sound like they are. And I do think New York has a higher outbreak of monkeypox right now, so we are getting more of the vaccinations. We also speak up louder than other states do, but I was listening and really watching out for other cities, and they are not getting the vaccination as much as we are. And so I feel like it should be get the vaccine should get to those that really need it at this time.
Exactly.
And then, like COVID, the vaccination will roll out because it's going to start affecting other communities. And that point, everybody should be getting it to avoid it. But that's kind of where I stand. I see a couple other things in our chat group. While I queue up the next story, read some of those.
So El Ray says, I say get it and tell a friend. I think he's saying skip the line. And Alan W says New Vac City, which is I guess it's an allusion to, it's a pun on New Jack City.
Mm-hmm.
You know what this reminds me of really is, remember when COVID, the vaccines first came out and people were skipping the line for the COVID vaccine, and that hot doctor that got it before he was supposed to get it? That's exactly what this reminded me of. And then people that had compromised immune system and the elderly, they went without because these people were all rushing vaccinations beforehand. It's just plain selfish, and I think that people should wait until their turn.
I 100% agree on that. Let's just go with that. All right, moving on to in the news. Story number 3 comes in at a doctor pulled a water bottle from a constipated man's anus. What?
Oh my goodness.
Yes. An Iranian man needed a 7.5-inch, 19-centimeter water bottle yanked out of his ass. The constipated 50-year-old who wasn't named was so scared of his wife's reaction.
Wow.
He delayed seeking help for, get this, 3 days. She had taken him, Cody, to the hospital because she was concerned about his lack of eating. He had some abdominal pain and inability to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Well, the man didn't tell the doctor that it was because he had a bottle inside of him, and it was only spotted when a CT scan showed it on the X-ray. And writing in the Journal for Clinical Case Reports, they said he didn't want to reveal he had inserted the object inside himself due to, quote, embarrassment and fear of his wife. He had pushed the bottom of the bottle in first so he would be able to pull it out by gripping the top, but he was unable to extract the item, leaving the plastic bottle lodged deep inside his large intestine. The man has a history of depression, was immediately rushed for surgery and given anesthesia to knock him out and relax his sphincter. Boy,
wow.
They finally were able to get it out. There was no rupture or excessive bleeding. I can relate to this in one way.
Okay.
I've talked about it. You know, we have 384 shows now. So within that bulk of 384 shows, I'm not going to tell you where, but in there, I do tell a story. I'll tell the brief version of it where a dildo did get stuck inside of me.
Oh my!
But it was a dildo that defaulted. It extracted off of its base. And it did get lodged inside of me. But yet, unlike this man, I called the emergency room immediately.
Yeah.
And did not ignore it by any means. I knew, this isn't going to come out of my system at any time soon. I need professional help.
That's right.
And honestly, that every doctor and nurse was not at all judgmental. And I know they're not supposed to be at all.
Yeah.
But, and one of the things the nurses told me were, do you know what we see people stick in their ass every single day? You actually had a toy which is actually used for play. Like they were telling me you actually and dysfunctional too, right? So you actually have a toy that was meant for this. It totally went awry on you. This guy had a water bottle, ignored it because of the shame from his wife, and probably almost risked killing himself.
Yeah,
because you can't live with that inside of you.
Yeah, like toxic shock. What? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to be.
But yeah.
And I'm just glad they got that dildo out of you and made it into some shoes, like we reported on Tuesday's show.
Maybe no. These were bloody. This was a bloody ass dildo when it came out.
Oh no!
I felt like I was having a baby. But they all high-fived me, including the surgeon. No surgery was needed because they said, you need to work with us to get this out of you. And they were looking at a screen.
You were awake?
4 or 5. Yes, because I worked with them and I willed myself to help them get this out of my system, because they said the alternative is if we cannot get this out, you're going to go 2 flights up to surgery and we'll get it out that way. And I did not want surgery. I also knew at that time I couldn't pay for surgery.
Yeah.
Because now you go into another level of doctor bills that I was like, oh, hell no, I am
Yeah.
not. We are getting this out of me now. I am working with you. Film this. I want to be a 911 episode.
Come on, Angela Bassett.
I mean, I was like, it was all, I wanted cameras on me. And some of those doctors, including some of the straight ones, high-fived me and said, you are such a rock star on the level of pain that you can endure. I said, oh, honey, I can take more than this, but listen.
Okay, it's time to log off now. I didn't even read any of my notes. I don't, because wow, man, that's wow. This story is crazy. The picture of this CAT scan is even scarier. All jokes aside, if he's this well versed at putting things up his butt, then he probably should let his wife know, and because he's a professional, clearly, because there was no rupturing, there was very little bleeding. All this lets me know that he knew what he was doing, and this is not his first time sticking something up his butt. If you are this well versed and you know that this is something that you like, you should be able to talk to your partner and say, I like this. You never know what her reaction could be.
Well, it did say in the story that he suffers from depression.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I could think that he would let this go on 3 days inside of him. I mean, the minute I knew, the minute my accident happened, and I was like, no, that didn't just happen. I crawled to look underneath the bed to think maybe I made a mistake and it's underneath the bed. Honey, no, it wasn't underneath the bed. It was inside of me.
Oh, my goodness.
And I tried to play with going to the bathroom for a second, and I thought, this is never going to come out because it's inflated. So I knew at that point, call the doctor. Don't call anybody else. No one else. I couldn't even call a friend because forget about embarrassment. A friend can't help me at that point. I called and they said, come on in. And I learned about myself in an emergency that I can handle it and I can work with it. And it was an accident and we solved the problem. So
I'm so glad. You can call me next time. I'll hold your hand while you push the baby out.
You're just going to say it. Before we get to our last in the news story, Jen is saying, my job recommended that we get vaccinated for monkeypox. They're afraid of a breakout similar to COVID. Really? Wow. That's crazy. What do you think about that statement?
That is, I love
what
it.
What kind of job? Do you work for a gay porn studio? Or?
I hope so. Can we? Is it take your daughter to work day? Can I be your daughter?
I mean, yes. Okay. And lastly, in the news, Lizzo was recently on the radio talking about how she's in a 1-year relationship with her man, similar to you, Cody.
Okay, yeah.
And when asked about her relationship and the success of it, she said that basically there are no rules. She thinks people overcomplicate relationships with the rules. She said even polyamorous people overcomplicate it. Well, you can see this person, but you can't see that person. She says, I'm with you and she essentially said, I'm with you and I'm just thinking of you. I don't want any rules. Monogamy is a little claustrophobic, she also said. Wow. I'm just worried about you and I'm just thinking about you. I think a love relationship that's non-monogamous, has no rules, is the way for her. I don't want any rules. I'm not interested in anyone sexually, romantically, emotionally other than her man. Interesting, because the way she's describing this, Cody, sounds like she's into monogamy and she's getting caught up in the terminology.
Yeah.
But do you think that she is onto something? Because when we create all these rules, maybe we create too many problems or do you disagree with her?
I disagree with her on a lot. I don't sorry. I don't disagree with her on every point. I think that whatever works for Lizzo is good for Lizzo. I think that when emotions get involved, it's really cool and fine to say we shouldn't have any rules, but then you add in the emotions of everything. And then that's when the rules to say, I don't even really like the word rules. I like guidelines or a roadmap to my satisfaction in a relationship. I think that
How
sounds a
about
lot.
boundaries?
Boundaries sounds okay too. It's better than rules for sure, because like
Yeah.
rules aren't made to be broken. Hello, goodbye. Uh, so I think that when you don't have any guidelines, then it's very easy to kind of step on people's feelings, and people get their feelings hurt much easier. Lizzo can do whatever she wants to in her relationship. She can give advice, but what works for one person is not necessarily going to work for another person or everyone. The most important thing, I think, is communication and ensuring all parties are being heard.
Yeah, to me, it sounds like she's saying she's in a monogamous relationship. She doesn't want all the rules, boundaries, whatever you want to call it. However, I think when one of you, it's only been a year, but when one of you acts out
Mm-hmm.
and does something that you don't like, there's going to be a problem. And because you didn't talk about what it is that you are okay with or what it is you are not okay with,
Yeah.
that's going to create a problem. All the relationships I've been in, the conversations have come up on what I am into and what I'm not into. I'm watching The Shy right now. I don't know if you know that show on
I
Showtime.
do.
I love that show so much. And there's a couple that's in a new relationship on the show, and the female was recently in an open relationship with her last that didn't work, and
Okay.
she's kind of bringing that mentality into her new relationship. And the new guy, is very clear that I don't want that. If
Oh
you
my.
want to run around town and be with
Oh,
them,
not running around town.
or whatever,
Yeah.
then this isn't going to work for me. And you just need to tell me now, because I know I want you, and I know I want you solely to myself. Now, you are enough for me. If
Wow.
this isn't enough for me, then we need to stop this right now. And I love that honesty. She's okay to have her feelings on what she may want, but she needs to make up her mind, because if she wants to be with this guy, it's not
Yeah.
okay
Yeah.
to be running around town or having her cake and eat it too. And
That's right.
so
I mean,
I yeah, I do. I think it was somewhat of, I bet down the road things may come up if there's no, whatever you want to call it, boundaries, rules, what you put up with. Lizzo may have some problems, or maybe she's only telling us half the story, because I just think things are going to come up down the road, and we're human beings, and we
yeah.
can only put up with so much. But then you layer on a relationship into the mix, and you're used to how you act and what you would do, but you don't necessarily know how this other person's always going to act in every situation. And is that going to be okay with you? I say it's not always going to be okay. You're
That's right.
always having to work through situations when you're in a relationship. It's that much harder, but it's beautiful when it works out.
That's right. And like I said earlier, as long as you're communicating and making sure that both parties are being heard, I think that it can work. It can work out. And these people on The Shot, I'm enraptured right now. I want to go watch it right now. I want to go and I'm not
Yes.
caught up yet. So
Oh,
I
we'll
have to
get
go.
caught up because it's really good. Read some of the comments before we move on.
Alan W says, I dated someone who got a cock ring stuck in him. No hospital, but Home Depot. El Rey says,
Oh, stuck on him. Yeah.
Oh, stuck on him. I thought in him. I was like, how did he get it in him?
On that last, Alan, I think I told this story. I was at a concert and I had so many rings on my fingers, and I was clapping so hard for Lisa Stansfield in London, that one of my rings bent so far that when we went home, I couldn't get it off. And I thought, oh, well, it's no big deal. Tomorrow, I'm sure it'll slide off with some soap. Well, it wouldn't. And I could not for the life of me get that ring off of me. I had to go to the emergency room. And I would imagine, like a cock ring, it's a ring. They have instruments that actually go and they just saw it off. And it's like a can opener of a utensil. And I said, wow, there's an actual thing for this. I would imagine you'd put the same thing on someone's dick, and It's not sawing the dick off. It's just
I would be
sawing
so
off.
scared.
But you screw this blade, you wrap it around the ring, and it, like a can opener, cuts the ring off. Even probably a cock ring.
A cock ring. That is
A cock
amazing.
ring.
El Ray also says, damn, I really need to start living life. And Jen says, it was strange, but I'm looking for a place in New Jersey to get back. So keep us posted on that, Jen.
And thank you for playing along with In the News. That wraps up that segment. You know, I am starting this book club, and I hope some of you will join it with me. Cody, I hope you get the book.
I already ordered it.
Oh my God, I'm so happy. It is. I'm showing it right here. It is called Heaven's Official Blessings by Tian Guan Si Fu. I hope I did not butcher his name up too badly. But, you know, they're already on volume 3. This is volume 1. And by the way, it's a Netflix series as well. I don't want to watch it yet until I read the book. But I didn't realize this, Cody, but it's a New York Times bestseller.
That's amazing.
The boys love novels from China that inspired the animated series. This epic historical fantasy about a prince and the mysterious man by his side is now in English for the very first time. Wow. Born the crown prince of a prosperous kingdom, Shi Lian he's renowned for his beauty, strength, and purity. His years of dedicated study and noble deeds allowed him to ascend to godhood. But
did you say Cody? Did you? Was that didn't describe me?
I did not. But those who rise may also fall, and fall he does, cast from the heavens and banished to the world below. There's more to that, but I'll leave it there. Get this book, and you can read along with Cody and myself. It sounds really good. I can't wait I started reading the prologue and I was into it. So I'm excited. So check that out and let us know if you are joining our book club. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey guys, your buddy Steve V here, and a couple years ago I had a medical issue that, other than my primary care doctor, I didn't feel comfortable talking to, whether it was a friend, a family member. I felt embarrassed and that potentially I was going to be judged. I really wish, though, that I could have trusted somebody, potentially a therapist, somebody that I could have divulged all the thoughts that were going on in my brain at that time, because life is full of twists and turns, and it's important to show up for yourself through it all. BetterHelp online therapy will assess your needs, and they can match you with your own licensed professional therapist in less than 48 hours. You know, thinking back on that time when I had my medical issue, I wish I would have turned to BetterHelp or a therapist in general. You know, therapy can be so helpful for so many issues, whether it's personal, relationships, or what is going on in your life. You know, with BetterHelp, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions so you don't have to be on camera if you don't want to. And getting therapy every week is as easy as a few clicks on your laptop or phone. With therapy, it can take a few tries to find the right fit for you. BetterHelp makes it easy and free to change the therapist if needed. It's also more affordable than traditional online therapy, and financial aid is available. And they have a special offer for our listeners. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/tags, TAGS. That's 10% off your first month of online therapy at BetterHelp, HELP.com/tags, TAGS. You can also go to TAGSPodcast.com and click on the link BetterHelp. Okay, well, we've got to get into hot topics, and coming in at our first topic is guys call out queer baiting. OnlyFans creators Low effort, cash flow, and ego boost. Okay, let me give you a little more to this story. Remember when queer baiting was just the domain of celebrities with an album to sell? Well, now it's social media stars who are talking the talk of queerness without walking the walk. Excuse me.
Somebody has something on their
I
mind
know,
right now.
right?
Freudian slip.
Quote, every OnlyFans, this is not my quote. Quote, every OnlyFans creator is bisexual until it's time to actually have sex with the same sex. One Reddit user vented on a recent Ask Gay Bros post. Quote, I acknowledge that you don't have to actually have sex with someone of the same sex to be bisexual, that user elaborated. But when your selling point is you being bi, hot, and open, it's not fair to expect at least one same-sex action or any for that matter. This isn't to say I hate OnlyFans. It's just annoying to see so much gay baiting being peddled around the internet. The truly sad part is that for the most part, it works.
Yeah.
I don't know that I really have a problem with this. There's a picture on it of a guy, I guess, queer baiting. And the thing I was telling you offline, Cody, is I have a couple of subscriptions to OnlyFans. I'm assuming some of them are gay, but some of the people that they get are straight. In this one I'm thinking of that I subscribe to. And to me, it really doesn't matter because I don't really think that I'm going to be with these guys. It's all fantasy and for me to consume and maybe jack off to here and there. Okay, who am I kidding? To jack off to because I enjoyed the content, but I'm not looking at it like, oh, I have a chance with these guys that I'm subscribing to, many of which one I subscribe to is in Mexico City, which I don't get to often at all. Another one is in Los Angeles, California. I get there once a year, but I see my friends and family.
But while you're there.
No, but my point is, and I do have a point, is I think this guy's way off base. Then don't follow the ones that are bisexual. There's plenty of gay ones out there that you could follow, but I don't really have a problem with it. Do you?
So part of me feels like it's very deceptive. And that part of me definitely does not agree with you. I think that it's wrong to deceive people and try to make them buy your product and not really provide on the product, really. But another part of me really agrees with you and feels like that porn is a fantasy at the end of the day, and that they should really take that into consideration if they're not hurting anybody, and if they are not doing something not providing something that they say they were going to do. Like if they say that they're going to have sex with a man and then it never pops up, then that I think is completely wrong as far as like from a consumer standpoint. But I think that as long as you don't lock yourself into that, and if you're not really being too deceptive, porn is a fantasy, and I think that you can really. It's not really harming anybody just by going and paying for these people. Me personally, I only really follow gay people even on Instagram. So for OnlyFans, definitely. But I have some weird hangups about being deceived and about reciprocity.
Well, as El Rey watching us live right now on Wednesday night, as we are live every Wednesday night on Get Vocal, soon to be on Vocal, VOKL.com. So we are switching over next month. So subscribers, keep note of that. We'll let you know when we're switching over to that because they're getting rid of Get Vocal. El Rey watching us live says there's nothing wrong with, Alan W says, oh my God, TikTok is full of gay baiting.
And it's pervasive.
So that's one of the things I want to say is I don't scroll through a lot. I use social media for marketing purposes. So when I post on our TikTok at TAGSPodcast, when I post on Instagram at TAGSPodcast, is for my marketing. I will see whoever comes into my feed for that moment. But with OnlyFans, so with that, I don't get into who's doing what, if they might be straight or not, who's zooming who.
Come on, Aretha Franklin.
Okay. I love that song. But
too.
I don't get into all that. But with OnlyFans, all the ones that I follow and the people we've had on our show, all of the OnlyFans creators are too busy spending their days contacting other performers that are gay to create content. So I know what I'm getting. I don't know that many of them, and I wouldn't subscribe to many of them that are only queer baiting or just putting that out there. The ones I'm putting out gay content, or at least gay sex, whether they identify as whatever they identify as, doesn't really matter to me, because I also don't think I'm about to sleep with them and have a relationship with them. My relationship is with my dick and watching them with a subscription-based service, and I am good with that. I've made that decision and I am okay with that. I also know a couple of gay friends of mine that they're gay and they have OnlyFans, and they are using it for showing off body, and they're not even hard. I don't even think one of my friends shows his dick. He shows his ass. He produces really creative, sexy content, and he has subscribers. So you could do that. And I don't think it's gay baiting. I don't think it's straight baiting. I don't think he never said he was going to give you the D or have sex on camera. You also have the option of unsubscribing or not subscribing at all. And I don't think there's a problem with it. If you want to put your money towards it, why are we complaining to it? You have so many other outlets to get people that are gay putting out content out there. You could go on Pornhub and get it for free. This to me sounds like a lot of complaining, and I don't know what the problem is.
I agree with you, because at the end of the day, it's not that hard to figure out who is queer baiting, honestly. So if you don't like it, exactly. If you don't like it, don't subscribe.
Next.
So.
Sorry. Yeah. Anything people are saying before we move on?
El Rey says there's nothing wrong with the straight or bi a guide, been a Voyager. I don't know exactly what that.
All right.
Yes.
Any
he
others?
Says, Alan W says, we are right. Thank you. Next. Just like our lovely Ariana Grande would say.
Moving on worklife.com, there's an article, why people watch pornography at work. Watching adult content during work hours can be career ending, but more employees than you might expect are risking it. It's kind of a lengthy article. I'll post this on TAGSPodcast.com. I'm not sure if you had a chance to read it, Cody. Some of the facts that I extracted out of this article is they do say that in general, most people consume porn between the hours of 10 p.m. and 1 a.m.
Okay.
But a newer trend shows that 4 p.m. is at second most popular slot of time.
A little nooner.
Yeah, many workers would admit. Yeah, many people are consuming it at work. But one of the things I got out of this article is, even though they're consuming it at work, and many of them are getting caught because they're doing it on devices that the company gave them, and they're getting caught by that. That's stupid to me, and they're getting fired. But one of the things they said in the article was, even though they're watching it at work, they're not necessarily masturbating while they're watching it. If they're in the office, it's that they're bored, or some psychologists say that they're mad at their job or their boss, or like I said, they're bored, and this is why they're resorting to watching porn. I could not be watching porn. Maybe I could. Well, I started to say how I felt about it. And for this show, I see preparing for the shows that we do 2 shows a week, sometimes 3. And I scroll through a lot of porn, particularly one site, Straight Up Gay Porn, where there is images and videos of guys hotter than the next having sex, and it's always in my face. And I don't know if I've become a little desensitized to it, or I just keep it in the day's work of no, find the story that's working for the show and move on with that. I don't I can get aroused by it, but I can
Mhm.
file it away for later. I've had moments in the past where when I started working from home where it was a little bit harder to
Okay.
keep focus. But now pretty much in the morning, if I see some hot content, typically when I'm hornier in the morning, I may jack off to porn early on in my day. But once I get into my groove, 10 a.m. onwards, I'm in my groove. I take a break for working out, and I still see a lot of this because it's part of what I do, but I don't let it get me too distracted once in a while, but not
Good.
too much.
Yeah.
What did you think about this story? And are we consuming more porn at work? And is it a problem for you, Cody?
So I was really, really shocked because I think it's really not that bright and not that smart. I agree with you 100% to watch porn on a company computer or device. I think, especially when porn is so readily available on your phone, I could just go to the bathroom and jack off if I want to watch porn that bad. If I get so randy, I guess people are just getting really bored and not really taking the repercussions into consideration. And you also mentioned that they're not even really jacking off. They're just looking at the porn.
I couldn't do that at work because
Me either.
that would
But
be blue balling me, right?
yeah, I would
I
never
would
do
have to do
that.
I would have to do what our viewer right now, Jen, said is the other day I woke up extremely horned up and I just had to go and rub one out at work. So you woke up
Yeah,
that way. Why didn't you do it when I often wake up that way and I do it in
maybe
bed before
maybe
I
you woke up
get out of
late, so he
bed?
had to go.
You're right.
I
I'm
remember one
assuming you
time.
did it in the bathroom, but
I remember one time I was working at a nondescript Times Square eatery, and that was when porn on the phone was relatively new, but you could still get it. And I was feeling my oats that day, honey. I was feeling, and I didn't have any tables. I asked my friend to watch my section, and I went to the bathroom and I looked at the porn on my phone and I rubbed one out, and it was no problem. I even washed my hands afterwards. It was amazing.
oh, good for you. Thank you very much. El Rey says, I would want to nap afterwards. Yeah, it's kind of a funny thing. And I've asked my former personal trainer, who he's given me a line to ask him any question I want about working out, even though I don't pay him anymore, but he's a friend of mine.
Uh-huh.
And I asked him once, because he's straight, but we're really open with each other. I asked him, is it a bad or a good idea to jack off before you work out? In other words, am I going to lose the testosterone needed to get a good workout? And he said, I don't know. He's very sexually horny all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes, because there's some studies, if you start Googling it, they'll say, no, hold it in because you want all of that testosterone to use for the workout. But I think actually, if I'm that horny, sometimes to bust one out before the workout, I can take like waiting to exhale. And
we're just going through it today.
We're going through it. Next, Tony Braxton's coming on. Then breathe again.
I am living.
And then I can get into the gym and actually focus because there's too many hormones going on. It's too much for me. And I just have to release. That's not a song, but yeah. But anyway.
You made it one. I'm okay with it. I feel like when I work out, I get more horny after the workout, like the muscles bulging and the testosterone, the blood running through my veins, and it just really just invigorates
the
me.
holes in your tank top.
I could wear this to the gym, couldn't I?
You could with a pair of, the kids these days, as we're calling out, are all wearing short shorts. And I was like, I'm the only odd. We went to Fire Island, you guys, last weekend, and I was the only one with board shorts, feeling my board shorts, and everyone had. Every person and the next person after that had shorter shorts than the person before them. And I'm like, what is going on with these
70s
queens
are
these
back.
days? I mean, no, I went to go get my monkeypox vaccination, and people, they were like, we are gay. We know we're the targeted audience. We are wearing our gay proud outfits out.
That's right.
It gave me
Our
life,
yeast
and I was
infection
here
shorts.
for it, but I'm not there yet. I'm wearing my board shorts, happy and proud. I'll wear my Speedo on the beach, but they're going a little high up the crack, you guys. I don't know.
That's right. Called Hoochie Daddy shorts, and that is a thing. I have to send you some videos. I had on my shorts because I am with the times now. The kids, they keep me young, darling. So
kids. Reading some comments here. Jen says, I did, speaking of jacking off, he said, I did at home, at the gym, and then finally at work. I couldn't concentrate. Ooh, all right. A lot of hormones going through Jen. Yeah. I've had those days, though, before. Come on, Angela. We are working through that. All right. Any other comments before we move on?
Kelly, that says people have trouble realizing that their work devices are not private. And El Rey says, honestly, he rolled up his shorts to make them Hoochie Daddy shorts. So, and Alan W says short shorts are pretty hot.
Got it. Well, we've got to move on. And this is a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a minute as I'm putting myself out there post broken ankle and potentially want to meet somebody and date, whatever that may mean. I think I have a general idea of what that means. And I've found that social media is a way to reach various people. If you all remember, there was a guy that I dated from my past, and he ended up getting married last year. Only I saw him with a new guy in his social media. We're friends still.
Yeah.
And then in the last several weeks, I've seen him with this new guy, and I'm like, what happened to the husband he got married to on social media?
Oh my goodness.
Last summer. And I did, I really had to figure this out, and I did some sleuthing around. And if you remember, the fiance, the husband, wrote into the show here because it was related to me. I won't bore you with that whole story again. You can email me and I'll tell you again. But come to find out that that relationship is over, the marriage, and he is on to a new boyfriend. And thank God for social media, because they finally posted my man and they're together. Because I had a friend back in the Bay Area when I went recently, and she said, well, now that he's not with his husband, why don't you reach out to him? Well, thank God I didn't. I mean, even though we have a friendship and he comments on my postings and I comment on his, but imagine if I said, oh, I'm in San Francisco, what are you up to? He's with already a new man.
I mean, okay, so this is already a scandalo, okay? All right.
En serio?
So you reaching out to him is not a big deal, I feel like.
No, but I would have maybe come in with that. I could have, knowing now what I know, but I may have come in with, how you doing? Type of thing. And he would have been like, I'm no longer with my husband, but I am with a new man, and I can't keep up. I miss my
open.
I'm so
maybe
glad.
There are no rules like Lizzo.
Well, back to the topic at hand. This is when social media is good, because thank God I looked at it again and I'm like, oh no, he's with this guy.
Okay.
Now,
all right.
Recently, I wanted to know what you thought about sending sex videos. Now, I recently told a story about a guy that I used to have. He used to be a fuck buddy back in the day when I lived in Los Angeles. And he reached out to me and was trying to get this back going again, and asked if I was coming to LA anytime soon. And I was at the time. And he over texted me. It was the problem. And overplayed it out. If you remember, I told that story. And one of the things that he said he wanted to do was go on a date with me and get to know me more and spend some time with me, as well as have sex. And he was sending me thirsty pics as well. So I was into it. We are both now 15 years later, more mature men, and I was down for it. And I was willing to go out to Santa Monica to meet him, take time out of my friends and do that. One of the things that kind of threw me off, though, was he sent me a sex video of him with somebody else.
No.
And it threw me off, and I didn't like it. Now, cut to a recent guy that I know is in a relationship in San Francisco, and it's nothing but sex, and we've never had that relationship in the past. It's nothing but he was a part of the baloney show that I was talking about, and it was baloney, and it was just sex. And he sent me, "Do you want to see a picture of me fucking?" And I said, "Yeah." He sent it to me, and I thought it was hot. I was into it. So, do you see the differentiation of when it's appropriate to send a sex video or when it may not be?
Yes,
not even consent, but the type of the relationship.
Oh, you were more into forming a bond and a relationship with one guy, and one guy was just sex.
Bingo.
I got it. So yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think that it's hard to define those roles and those rules and those guidelines. It's hard to define those because everybody that you talk to is going to be different, right? So I think that when you feel comfortable sending a video is when you should send it. And it's up to the other person to let you know where their boundary lies. It's not up to you to try and guess where somebody, because you're not a magician. You're not a mind reader. You don't know when somebody actually is uncomfortable with sex videos. If they're that uncomfortable with videos being sent to them, they should probably let you know in advance. And that way, no lines and no boundaries will be crossed.
But it's not that I'm uncomfortable with seeing sex videos. It's that I think you and I, not you, Cody, but you and the person I'm texting have this potential to have
sex. I can send you one right now. Okay.
But it's not that it sounds like you say, oh, if you're offended. I'm not offended by it's that this person is working me up and to have a sexual relationship with him. Now you're sending me a sex video of you and some random ass person.
Yeah.
That I don't want to see you with somebody else before I've had a chance. So in other words, that sent
or at all. I do not want to see with you with anybody else.
Yeah, or
that is not my gig.
Or he sent me, hey, do you want to get together? There's this other third guy that I think you would really like. He's got a big dick. And he sent me, and there was the two of them fucking a third guy. And he thought it was going to be enticing to me. And all I could think of, so I said,
the video, though? Can you send
it? I know. It may have vanished into thin air.
Wait a minute
because now I don't care about him anymore like that. But now I want to watch the video for fun. But I think, why did you have to send me that? And I said, well, actually, I'd rather be with you first, and then maybe we can talk about that after. And he was like, oh, no, of course. And he realized he made a mistake and crossed a boundary that maybe wasn't cool at the time. And not that I have these major boundaries, but I do think people should be a little bit, you think about what you put out there and what you communicate to. I don't think I'm being that sensitive. I don't know. Maybe I am, but I know what I like, and it doesn't work for me. But it didn't bother me with the recent guy that it was nothing but a guy. I said, yeah, send it to me. And it was hot, and it worked because we don't really have that same relationship. And I'm not looking to date this guy or have anything more than hooking up with him, and at best being an acquaintance of this guy because of the baloney show. Different story from the other one. So I think it doesn't always, you got to read the room is what I'm saying.
But again, I will reiterate that people are not mind readers. Not everybody is going to know where your boundaries are. It's up to you to set those guidelines and those boundaries.
But why do people have to rely on videos? Why aren't you enough? Ooh, that sounds pretty important. So for example, when I am talking to somebody, I think I'm the star. I know
I'm the star. I'm here with you on that.
I think you've given me the platform, the stage, and you are interested in me to ping pong this situation back and forth, and I should be enough, and I should have enough in my tool bag without resorting to of just my personality, of what I want to write in there, of pictures of me, than to resort to, let me show you a picture of me getting fucked by this guy or me fucking this guy, as to entice you to want to sleep with me. I don't think I need to go there. I think I am the platform and enough for this situation. And if you if you want 2 people or 4 or 5 or 8, go to that room over there. But door number 1 over here is Steve V. Rodriguez. And I am enough. And I don't need to show you a picture of me with somebody else, Tom, Dick, or Harry. No.
All of the
above. If we want to record that on our own and do that later on, great. But I don't know why people resort to that. They don't give themselves, in my mind, they don't give themselves enough credit. I didn't ask for this video. I didn't ask for extra credit in this class. I just asked for you to show up and be you. Can you do that? Oh, you can't? Then sorry. Back to Ariana. Next.
Thank you. Next.
Our favorite topic at the end of the show. It's called Thirst Trap and by Straight Up Gay Porn. And this week, they are asking the question, out of these 21 gay porn stars, who took the best photo or video? And our job is to vividly describe on an audio podcast when this show gets repackaged which one was our favorite. But I ended up on a video by Josh Brady. Ooh, you can follow him on Twitter at Josh Brady XXX. And it's Josh running naked on a beach. Think Baywatch. As Pup Jagger wrote in the comment section of this video, he is running proudly, nakedly on a beach with the beautiful ass and flopping dick in the shallow section of the beach. And it reminded me how much I really want. So I tend to make these about myself, how much I want to go to the nude beach soon.
I mean,
you and I were talking about it. We're going Gunnison Beach. Let's make an appearance this summer. We come.
Yeah. Well, I kind of have 2. One is from my boyfriend, and he picked Tony Genius. He's almost at the bottom. He's got an LA Lakers hat on, and he's smiling, a big beautiful smile, and he's got a nice curved penis. It's so beautiful.
Oh, I see him. Does he have blue socks on?
He has blue socks on. He's totally adorable. He's on a couch. And we also picked Derek Cage, and he's also sitting on a couch, and he's got no shirt on. He's doing that thing where you put one arm up and says, "Look at my pits." And
oh, that's my second. That's my runner-up with those jeans, honey.
Well, I was gonna. I was setting it up. Oh. He has a gorgeous. That tattoo is amazing. He has a come hither look on his face.
Oh my
And then
God.
you see these ripped jeans with that. And the cock is just poking right out, and it's just beautiful. So Derek
I
Cage
just followed him on Twitter. Derek
oh, did
Cage,
you? Is it that good?
We are live next week. Keep in mind that soon we will be moving off of Get Vocal to simply Vocal, VOKL.com. But we'll give you a little notice because we have till the end of August. So we're probably going to move over there in the middle of August. So stay tuned for that. And if you subscribe to Get Vocal, we will want you to subscribe to Vocal. So you'll get all the notifications and all that good stuff. Follow my co-host, Cody Maurice Doggett. He's a life coach at KMD Coaching on Instagram. KMD Coaching Life Coach over there, as well as Mr. Maurice for some really hot shots of himself and sometimes his boyfriend, Joe. Who's hot too.
Not too many, though. Not too many.
Follow us at TAGSPodcast or my personal account, I am_Steve V. So much fun, Cody. I love it. Fun. Yeah.
Yes, always.
Well, enjoy your weekend. Stay cool, hydrated, and in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex.
Yes.
Yeah.